Hi everyone. My name is Happy for all intents and purposes. My name is Happy. I have another channel, Happy Made, here on YouTube, where I do a lot of DIY jewelry and home things, but I haven't been doing a lot of those videos lately because I haven't been making a lot of things lately. Um, and I figured since I've been complaining about a lot of things that have been either keeping me from doing it, or I'm just passing a buck and saying that it's keeping me from doing it when I could be doing it, whatever. And just that I complain all the time. And then what I see online, I figure I might as well just get it out there, because if anything, somebody else might be feeling the same way I feel about a lot of this stuff, and or you never know. They always say, although you have to watch out and be mindful of a lot of the crap you get online, I may actually get some legit discourse with this late night rant. So if you're interested in this late night rant, here it is. I will timestamp different parts, so if you're only interested in one part, so I don't seem super crazy to you or whatever. The first part of this late night rant is in thinking about going back to school on after New Year's. So I work in education in a predominantly poor city. I work with a population of students that, let's just say, where I work is tough, and the students I work with come with a variety of complex needs, backgrounds, languages, families, whatever, right? And I'm trying to be certified fully. I'm emergency certified. So I started out not as a teacher, but in something else, and kind of stumbled my way into realizing that I love working with kids. I always have. I've always worked with kids somehow, whether it's through higher education, after school programs, whatever. And so it was finally like a duh for me. They need to see more people like me in the class. I enjoy it. It's one of the few times, for those who know me, where I tend to light up. So, but I say all that to say that out of my entire life, whether it's being a kid and loving going to school, being a super nerd, loving the library, loving almost every teacher I've had except for one, even though I knew the school I went to was completely understaffed, underfunded. We had just the ceiling caving in my English class in 11th grade. Textbooks were from super old, like all these things, right? I loved school, loved college, loved everything I did post-college, working with kids, families, blah. This is my first year ever that I have honestly, seriously not liked and or questioned me continuing in the education field for a variety of reasons. And it saddens me to feel this way because, like I said, I love working with kids. They are the bright spot for me and for a lot of us who work in education. There's no feeling like going through whatever pain in the behind nonsense you're going through to when you see a student you work with reach that goal you both set for that student. The look in their eyes when they're like, oh, even if it's not completely there, the look, the spark that they get when they see the path at least in front of them, there's nothing like the joy in that for me and helping kids to help see that. And so I love working with kids. I love doing it. But it has been a heavy year so far. And it's only December. Like with COVID and the district I work for having one set of guidelines, then the FDA having another set of guidelines, and then the state having a whole other complete set of guidelines. And with all of these guidelines, you know, the masking, the distancing, the wash your hands, sanitize, like all these things. I work with kids. Again, I work with kids from diverse backgrounds, kids from high needs backgrounds, and little kids, not high schoolers, but little kids who still sometimes call me mom by mistake, right? There's no masking, distancing, sanitizing in the world that's going to keep every germ away, because little kids, they like to hug, touch, pick boogers, share food. Like, there's so many things. So you have that, right? So then you have that. You have the constant positive cases that are happening left and right all over my school, all over the district. And this whole push to go back by any means necessary and we can do it type attitude from the top. But it's like, as an educator, I literally feel like I'm on the so I don't mean this to say to demean anyone's service, whether past, present, or future. But if to put it as an English teacher might would, it makes me, it gives me the image of teachers being like on the front line of this, whatever this education by any means necessary, but it's a whole bunch of BS, honestly, thing where we're going to keep them in schools regardless of how sick, underfunded, under supported, like they going to come. Don't matter that half your class untested positive. You've been vaccinated, so you're set, you're clear, you deal with it. It doesn't matter that your kids now have to stay home in quarantine. You need to figure it out. We're going to take your days away and you deal with it. And then now you still have to deal with all these additional mandates, and you have to do all these additional checks that last I saw, there was no additional funding from. And I might as well just put it out there. I'm from Philly because this complaint goes hand in hand with that. Shout out to the PPA for saying, the Philadelphia Parking Authority, for saying that they overpaid money to the school district Philadelphia by like $11 million or some nonsense like that, right? Like, who just completely messes up 11 million, right? But that they want to take that money back, where we still have schools that are fighting because of asbestos. And these are, quote, our top tier blue ribbon schools, right? They still having asbestos issues. We have schools where it's so much going on. But we're going to be in person, whether you are COVID tired and weary, your kids have been home, but the alternative, which is virtual school, is trash, both from an educator and from a parent who, since I have a daughter in the same public school system I teach, which I'm very curious to see the numbers on that. How many Philadelphia teachers who have kids have their kids in the very system they teach. That's just a whole side conversation, but it's trying to balance that. Okay, now my child's on quarantine, but I still have to be there to help figure it out. But like, it's just, this, while virtual schooling sucks, again, we've had months to figure this out. Like we've already, like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that in the winter months, people stay indoors more because it's colder. What happens? We congregate, we all get sick. Now it's this mad dash, everybody go virtual, maybe not. And then they don't even tell us until the last minute. So then there isn't really even no preparation for it, because it's this whole, we're going to keep going. And then we get the memo when at like 12 o'clock the day before. Like, maybe they'll give us the day before, they'll give us maybe a day out in advance. But it's just, so that's my whole one rant. Just that while the issues are complex and vast, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that a lot of the things that are happening or being proposed or aren't being proposed currently just aren't they're shit. Sorry, I've been trying not to curse, but they aren't working. So, okay, are we going to keep holding these meetings and saying we're going to do this, that, and the third, and shit's still not working for another year? Or, okay, are we going to figure this the fuck out now? Because while shit ain't working, we have kids who are matriculating through the grades, whether they should be moving up or not, whether they're being prepared or not. And I'm saying again, from the educator side, a lot of our kids are not prepared. And it's not a matter of just the teachers or the quality or whatever you want to, those who like to argue that. I don't have the patience any longer, but it more so speaks to the lack of community support, wraparound support for the students and families and teachers, who often do way more than their quote unquote job description. And teachers have forever. Like, okay, we get that. Teachers don't want a standing ovation for going above and beyond, because like that, we know that. But at least give us the tools, at least equip us properly, so that when we are trying to go above and beyond, we can do so effectively, and we can do so to the benefit fully of our students. And so, but like, I'm going to sit here and try to finish some paperwork at some point, as I hopefully and I know I'm not doing this right. Y'all can say whatever, let me know. I watched a couple videos, read a few articles. I'm just the sheer movement of it on my face, where I am, just how fed up I am and frustrated I am, that I'm frustrated with being an educator right now, when like anybody who may have known me from elementary, middle, high school, like, I loved school. I was the nerd. I was on the band. I was on on sports teams, debate. Like, I literally did every cross section of school because I loved it. Like, the idea of learning, the idea of helping kids see that learning can be fun, it can be cool, it can be exhilarating, it can be mind-blowing. Like, that's how I felt, and that's how I feel when I go into a school building, however dilapidated it is here in Philadelphia, right? But because there's so much BS that we as teachers, but then also as single parents, because while I'm a teacher, I'm first a mother of 2 kids, in a city that rent is ridiculous. So this is the next part of my rant, being a single parent in a very unsafe city that I love. I used to be proud of, and now I'm not. because they just hitting any old body nowadays. Don't matter who you are, what part of the city you from, your age, like anybody can get popped nowadays, right? So I'm a single mom in an environment where positive COVID cases are like, they're daily, but I'm vaccinated, right? So like, yeah, but like the science shows while being vaccinated, I can still contract COVID. And guess who I bring it home to as is the only caregiver of my kids. Although I am still technically married, but the state allows him to be a deadbeat. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. So I like, as being a single parent trying to balance full-time work, and I know that I am fortunate in terms of being a teacher and that my schedule, I'm off when my kids are off, and I know the vast majority of people do not have that luxury. I still feel it in other ways. Like, rent for Philly is crazy, even in a completely shitty neighborhood, street, place. PPA sucks, Philadelphia Parking Authority. Like I said, they want to not only take money from the school district, but they will ticket you for doing what is allowed in other parts of the city. I have seen it, witnessed it time and time again. Then you got the dirty old men who are just dirty old men. I'm gonna just leave it there. And then trying to be a single mom and balancing all of that, knowing that everybody says, be strong, be strong, be strong. But it's like, okay, be strong. Until when? For how long? With what? Like, it's just, it's a lot. It's so, like I said, I know I'm not the only one that literally wakes up sometimes and just looks around and be like, what is going on these days between, like, I'm reading stories how they hired the locksmith because they told the locksmith they got locked out of their car, and just to jack the locksmith of his tools once he gets to the job. Like, as much as I try to be glass half full, and I know I don't look it because it's hard. You gotta have a nasty face when you walk the streets of Philly as a woman. You do. I try to be positive, but it's just like, the more and more I see behind the scenes, to where teachers are just constantly self-sacrificing is what I see. I see a lot of teachers who are self-sacrificing and don't even realize it until it's too late. I'm hearing stories of teachers all over the city, but then not only just the teachers, you have parents who are stressed and frazzled. And then there's a huge Hispanic population in this city. And I talk with a few. I'm learning Spanish. Un poquito, very little Spanish. But the families I've been able to converse with, they be just as confused, if not more, because they like, well, where do you find the information? And then I can't even find it in my language. Like, it just be, I'm starting to think Philadelphia is just not the city for you if you are trying to raise your kids honestly with high expectations of themselves, both physically and academically, culturally, and family-wise. And like I said, in a safe environment where I know they'll be going to quality, safe schools. It's just, I am, like I said, I'm at a loss. And it just, honestly, I just find myself often, again, like I said, up late at night, like now, ranting. So I figure I'd get it out. You can leave a comment below, whatever. If any of this sounds legit, like I said, thank you for taking the time. If you watched to the end of this to actually make it this far, you have blown my mind if you really have already, because like I said, I see all kinds of stuff online. So I figured, why not add my 2 cents? But so in saying that, thank you if you have watched any part of this video. And I'm interested to hear any thoughts that you have to say regarding what I just talked about. Thank you. And